Welcome to this explainer. Listen, have you ever just grabbed a pair of regular kitchen dish gloves to deep clean your bathroom? Or, maybe you thought your everyday prescription glasses would automatically protect your eyes from a sudden splash of bleach. Well, if so, you might be unknowingly putting yourself at some pretty serious risk. Today, we're completely tearing down some incredibly common misconceptions about everyday cleaning safety. We're going to look at personal protective equipment, or PPE, not just as some annoying, rigid workplace requirement, but as a completely essential, highly effective tool for absolutely anyone handling chemicals or biological hazards. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's the highly logical, head-to-toe journey we're going to take today. We'll cover the least restrictive rule, eye and face protection, hand protection essentials, proper glove removal steps, gloves for your feet, and finally, protection at work and home. Section 1. The least restrictive rule. Matching PPE to hazards. Before we even think about touching a pair of gloves, we really have to understand OSHA's foundational framework. OSHA, of course, being the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. They call this the least restrictive requirement. Basically, this means matching your specific PPE to the exact hazard you're facing so you get adequate protection without, over-encumbering yourself needlessly. For example, if you're just mixing some basic chemicals and your main fear is a splash back into your eyes, well, you definitely don't need to throw on a full-body hazmat suit. But you absolutely must use the specific gear designed for that exact visual threat. It's all about calculated, appropriate defense for the exact task at hand. Section 2. Eye and face protection. Shielding from splashes.
Let's move to our anatomy tour and see how this builds, starting right at the top of the body, your face and eyes. When it comes to your face, we've got safety goggles versus face shields. Now, going back to that OSHA rule of matching the exact hazard, you use goggles for targeted eye protection. Think about when you're mixing standard chemicals right in front of you on a counter, and you just need to make sure nothing splashes directly into your eyes. But if you're dealing with a situation where a splash could hit literally anywhere, say you're working above your head or dealing with a totally unpredictable environment, that is when you have to upgrade to a face shield. A face shield gives you complete facial coverage. It severely limits the ability for a chemical to just sneak around the edges of the plastic and reach your eyes or your skin.
Now, I need to aggressively bust a major myth here. Prescription glasses are not safety glasses. Look, I know it is so tempting to think your everyday lenses have you covered, but they leave the sides, the top, and the bottom completely exposed. Hazards like chemical splashes or airborne, bloodborne pathogens, they can easily bypass those lenses. Sure, they might offer a tiny bit of accidental blockage straight on, but as far as actual OSHA safety standards are concerned, they provide zero adequate protection when you're dealing with serious cleaning agents. You always need a dedicated set of true safety goggles. Section 3. Hand protection essentials. Guarding your best tools. Transitioning geographically down the body, let's talk about our hands. In the cleaning industry, our hands are our absolute best tools, which means they are constantly in the danger zone. So let's contrast two major types of protection, nitrile gloves and cut-resistant gloves. Nitrile gloves are your single-use daily defenders. The industry literally goes through thousands of these a year. They're specifically designed to block liquids, protecting your skin from harsh chemicals, heavy disinfectants, and blood. But here's the catch. They have a major weakness. They will not stop a sharp edge. So if you're scraping gum off a floor with a sharp putty knife or using heavy wrenches and metal tools, you absolutely must switch to cut-resistant heavy-duty gloves. And yes, if you happen to be dealing with sharp objects and messy chemicals at the exact same time, you can for sure wear a nitrile glove right underneath a work glove for dual protection.
Now, what's really interesting here is a habit almost all of us are guilty of at home, reusing those thick, yellow kitchen dish gloves. You know the exact ones I'm talking about, right? You use them, you rinse them off, and you drape them over the faucet to dry. Well, hanging them over the sink to dry actually creates this dark, moist sauna inside the glove that breeds massive amounts of bacteria. Instead of protecting yourself, you're literally spreading infection the very next time you put them on. This is exactly why professionals rely on single-use nitrile gloves instead. You use them once, they protect you fully, and then boom, they go straight into the trash.
Section 4. Proper glove removal steps. Avoid cross-contamination. So, the crucial point is this. Wearing the right gear is completely useless if you contaminate your own clean skin while taking it off. It is a massive blind spot. Let's meticulously walk through this critical doffing sequence. If your gloves are covered in bleach or bacteria, you can't just casually yank them off by the fingers. Step 1. Pinch the outside of one glove near the wrist and pull it off so it turns inside out. Boom. Now your dirty glove is inside out, trapping the mess safely inside. Step 2. You now have one bare, completely clean hand. Whatever you do, do not touch the outside of your remaining dirty glove. Instead, slip your clean fingers underneath the wrist of the dirty glove, pressing only against your clean skin. Step 3. Pull it off, again turning it inside out, enveloping that first glove and dispose of the whole shebang. The golden rule is incredibly simple. Dirty only ever touches dirty, and clean hands only ever touch the clean inside of the glove.
Section 5. Gloves for your feet. Rubber boots matter.
All right, we've covered the top half, but we need to move down to a frequently overlooked piece of the anatomy. The feet. The source material gives us this absolute perfect metaphor for the bottom half. These are gloves for your feet. And this brilliantly illustrates the point. When we clean, gravity dictates that literally everything we're spraying, scrubbing, or spilling is heading straight for the floor. If you're doing intense floor care, or maybe spraying out a highly contaminated enclosure like a dumpster area, a regular pair of canvas sneakers is going to act like a giant sponge. Rubber boots ensure your feet stay completely dry, safe, and totally isolated from that hostile environment.
Just think about the environmental dangers you might accidentally step in. Harsh chemicals, blood-borne pathogens, hidden sharp objects, vomit, heavy industrial degreasers, and disinfectants. If any of those soak right through a pair of canvas sneakers, they're sitting directly against your bare skin, trapped inside a warm, moist sock all day long. Yikes, right? That is incredibly unsafe. A sturdy pair of rubber boots is an absolute must to block out these specific hazards from ever reaching your skin.
Section 6. Protection at work and home. Safety everywhere. So let's zoom out for a second. Why does mastering this entire head-to-toe protocol matter so deeply? Well, the vital applications are really twofold. First, in the professional world, proper PPE protects franchise owners and businesses from serious OSHA liability. If you aren't training your employees to use this gear, or you aren't supplying it to them, you are leaving yourself both legally and financially exposed. But secondly, and honestly just as importantly, it protects families from infection at home. Having this gear in your arsenal is just non-negotiable. Whether you manage a huge team of commercial janitors, or you're just doing a deep spring clean of your own garage and bathrooms, the harsh rules of chemistry and biology do not magically change just because of your location. Which brings us to our final provocative thought for today. You wouldn't voluntarily touch a biohazard barehanded at a job site, right? So why are your home cleaning habits putting you at such a hidden risk? I want you to take a hard look at your own safety toolkit under the sink right now. Are you using proper single-use nitrile gloves? Do you have actual safety goggles for that heavy-duty bleach rather than just relying on your everyday reading glasses? Reassess your gear, remember those least restrictive head-to-toe principles we walked through today, and make absolutely sure you're truly protected the next time you start cleaning. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, stay safe out there.